It also indicates Bitcoin could surge up to $100,000 in the future. I suspect they're just being promoted, and the real big money's always been in the market, just quietly. So, what's gonna happen in 2021? I'm giving you 3 scenarios for Bitcoin, and they're all positive. Welcome to the Coin Post. In case you bought Bitcoin on January 1st, 2020, your fortune has increased 289% today. Of course, it's not as cool as Tesla's growth of more than 600% this year. But let's see who goes to the moon first. Today, I'm gonna summarize the past year for Bitcoin and at the same time try to look into the future and see what lies ahead in 2021. But before I do that, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who watched the Coin Post last year for your likes and comments, and to those who inspired me for more videos. Let's dive in. In 2020, Bitcoin had 3 key events: a collapse that hit all the markets in March with the Corona crisis, then May halving, and hitting a new all-time high in December. We're gonna move in chronological order, so right now I'm gonna take you back to March when bad things happened, and Bitcoin plummeted 58% from about $9,100 to $3,800. I mean, I remember those days well because it was the time I had to take the almost finished video from our editor to make changes again. So the Bitcoin price dropped to $3,800, and the main reason for that was the US stock market crash, which triggered a correction in all other markets. I addressed this topic in detail by summarizing the stock price in my previous video, and I also named the risks to the stock market in 2021 that could lead to a new collapse. Don't forget to check it out. You can see the link on the screen and find it in the description box. I mean, even if you don't hold American stocks, if they fall, the rest of the markets will begin to adjust too. March was no exception. Along with the S&P 500, not only Bitcoin dropped, but also gold. Yellow metal is provisionally considered a major protective asset, and it also became a lot cheaper, about 14%. But Bitcoin did drop more than the rest percentage-wise, and I got really worried about it. Nevertheless, people started to buy Bitcoin even more at the bottom, and by the end of 2020, it surged 670% after the fall. For comparison, since the March crash, gold showed a 47% return, and it's only if you take the high in August, as currently it's noticeably lower. So I feel like those who keep gold and didn't have the courage to invest at least some money into Bitcoin could tear up right now. But perhaps you've still got time to get on a train called Bitcoin. I'll tell you all about it at the end of the video, and in the meantime, let's take the halving. The third Bitcoin halving took place on May 11th, and now the block reward is 6.25 coins per block. The next event will be in 2024, and then the miner reward will shrink 50%. The hash rate chart clearly shows how the miners reacted to this process, with a massive shutdown of their devices, resulting in a 26% drop in network power. We also had a big hash rate drop in March when the Bitcoin price collapsed, because that's a major factor for miners. And there was another big drop in October. I mean, the price was fine back then, but the Chinese miners were left temporarily without cheap electricity, which also had a significant impact on their profitability. You gotta realize one thing here. The point of the halving is not to bankrupt miners, but to reduce the Bitcoin emissions. It's a programmed process that happens on its own and creates a deficit of cryptocurrency on the market. As a result, the price should start to rise, and this time it was like clockwork. By reducing the number of new coins, the huge liquidity from central banks to markets, and the interest of institutional investors, the price surged. The stock-to-flow model once again proved its viability. Just have a look at it. It also indicates Bitcoin could surge up to $100,000 in the future. I cannot imagine how much miners will earn then, because miners are currently earning $1 million per hour. I mean, it's mainly the block rewards, but the transaction fees also increased. as the price increase inevitably raises transaction fees. At the moment, the average commission fee is $8.6. When it comes to big transfers, when you can send a few $billion in Bitcoin and pay an $8 commission fee, it's incredibly cheap. But for micropayments, these fees are obviously a problem. Good news is that we have the Lightning Network, and I think the current situation with fees is gonna speed up its development and adoption. And we're halfway through the video. Next, we're gonna discuss the new Bitcoin all-time high and the 2021 price prediction. In the meantime, you can do a good thing and give us a thumbs up. In addition to the halving on May 11th, Bitcoin had two more important dates in 2020. It's November the 30th, when it officially hit a new all-time high that exceeded the previous high of December 2017, and then on December 16th, when the Bitcoin price hit above $20,000, which was an important psychological mark that spurred much of the interest of companies and funds, confirming the first steps towards new highs. Microstrategy became the main engine of institutional demand for Bitcoin. I suspect they're just being promoted, and the real big money's always been in the market, just quietly. Grayscale, whose assets already reached $19 billion, has also played an important role here. As Blockstream head Adam Back rightly pointed out, private investors are also buying Bitcoin, because the institutionalists don't work on weekends. Well, the growth of up to $25,000 and then up to $28,000 happened just on non-business days. Along with buying Bitcoin, you were also subscribing to our channel. I'm sure that with your help we can get up to 10,000 followers in the first months of 2021. All you have to do is subscribe and ring the bell. Thank you for your support. So, what's gonna happen in 2021? I'm giving you 3 scenarios for Bitcoin, and they're all positive. It's just that I don't see any signs yet that this is the highest point of the price and that we're gonna have a year of a prolonged fall. But I do believe that we're on the threshold of going to the moon, and this is how it's gonna happen. The first option is a rapid growth of up to $50,000 in the first half of next year, followed by a short altcoin season and then crypto winter. I see 2 possible reasons for this. One is a stock market crash. The bubble continues to be inflated by the money printing machine, and the risks of another fall are pretty high too. But we should also not rule out the regulators' intervention in case they see a threat in Bitcoin. In 2017, that's what happened. The market was screwed up by the CME futures. The second scenario is the best possible one, and it's based on the market cycle of Bitcoin. If we assume that 2021 would repeat 2017, it means that within a year, Bitcoin could surge from 800 to 1600% as it was during previous cycles. And even if we keep it to a minimum, it could be up to $200,000. And the third option is when the Bitcoin cycle takes longer and we won't see the end until 2022. I mean, it's bad because it takes longer to wait, but at the same time, Bitcoin could reach $500,000. And this is not a sky-high price. In this case, the capitalization of Bitcoin would be comparable to other financial markets. And institutionalists have more than enough money to keep buying Bitcoin at $100,000 or more. Share this video with your old friends who are not yet aware of the grand plans of Bitcoin for 2021. They gotta see this. And that would be it for today. Thanks for watching. It's the Coin Post channel. Subscribe and get enlightened.